Happy 4th of July to all my American friends. It is once again time for 3 Count Commentaries. I am your host, MagMongoSlade. Today we're going to be talking about NXT from July the 4th, 2023. For all my non-American friends, happy Tuesday? Okay, so let's get into NXT because there are no news and notes. Blair Davenport defeats Roxanne Perez in a blandly competent match in which nothing went wrong, but nothing was exceptional. Much like Roxanne Perez in general. Roxanne Perez has had a very strange run in NXT. She came in very highly touted. She won a tag team championship, had nothing magical about it, nothing special about it, until almost the immediate breakup afterwards. So she never actually lost the title. It was basically thrown in the garbage. And then she won the women's championship only to lose it in the most odd way possible, in which she never got beat. So it's a very weird, like, she's won everything that there's to have in NXT already in her first year. And yet it's incredibly shallow, in so much as you still don't know any more about her now than you do before. She's not more over now than she was before. And nothing jumps out at you as a magical moment that involves Roxanne Perez. It's kind of odd how that happens, right? But it happens a lot on the indies, where, you know, everybody just gets a turn. And it was her turn to be the tag team champion, and they took it away. And it was her turn to be the NXT women's champion, and they took it away, and it's somebody else's turn. It's not about building legacy. It's about making sure everybody gets their turn. And Roxanne Perez got her turn, and now she's got these accolades so that she can put over other people. And that's what she's doing now. So she pretty much put over Blair Davenport. The match was fine. Again, I said it was blandly competent. The finish was the Kamigoye. I like that Roxanne Perez was actually aggressive in this match, so I did like that. Moving on. Ivy Nile was very nervous about the Schism situation. That Schism is very tricky. She was worried about the Creed brothers, and she was interrupted by Tiffany Stratton, who says that she should be the one doing the interviews because she is the one who defended her title last week. Ivy and Tiffany started bantering back and forth about Tiffany tapping out, and the ref didn't see it, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. And then Ivy Nile threatened to tap out Tiffany Stratton herself, but she had something to do, which is to go hang out with the Creed brothers and get them prepared for the big match. The Schism, Joe Gacy, was saying that, hey, I would never put more on the Dyad's plate than they can handle. I suggested this match because I know they can win it. And so that's what he did. And the main event of the evening, the technical main event, the last match, loser leaves NXT, the Dyad versus the Creed brothers. Solid enough tag team match, as the Creed brothers almost always have. And I kind of figured the swerve was coming. I think I called the swerve last week. The Creed brothers lost. The Creed brothers lost because Ivy Nile was goaded into the ring. They distracted the ref. Her and Eva distracted the ref, and some masked player jumped on the apron, headbutted Julius Creed with that hard plastic mask, put him down, and the Dyad pinned him. I certainly would have decided to go a little stronger on the Creeds. Maybe something a little stronger than a hard plastic mask headbutt. But I kind of figured this was going to happen. The Creed brothers had done everything there is to do in NXT. They had a hell of a run. I'm ready for them on Raw or SmackDown. I'm not sure this is over. They might come back under a mask, or they might just go away for a little while and find their way coming back. But if this is the end for them, which it seems to be, I'm okay with them going to Raw or SmackDown right now. I really like these guys. The Dyad winning. The Schism gets a new member. I'm not sure. I would think the new member of the Schism would be female. I hope that's not the case, because, you know, a female headbutts Julius Creed in the head with a mask. So it's probably like one of these undersized males. that are like floating around NXT, but there's no telling. Anyway, the dyad winning was a bit of a surprise, but not much of a surprise because, like mentioned before, even though everybody knows the dyad are leaving when their contract is up, their contract isn't actually up until October. So we thought they were going to just skate the last couple of months and just ride that out. But apparently Sean is going to make them work to the very last day. So the Creed brothers are gone from NXT. Now they set up an interesting storyline because Ivy Nile was talking all that trash to Tiffany Stratton, and now she's got to fight Tiffany Stratton next week without the Creed brothers in her corner. And she's been picking a fight all this time with Ava Raine too. So now she's got all of these people like bearing down on her. And now she's by herself because the Creed brothers are gone. So it seems to me like they're going to try to probably find her a tag team partner, somebody to watch her back, in terms of another female wrestler. And that could be useful. That could be a good way of rebuilding the NXT tag team division because they absolutely lacerated it over the last couple of weeks. So the Creed brothers stuff was pretty good. Nice little surprise, nice little swerve. Mustafa Ali beat Tyler Bate in a pretty good match. Another match that was, highly competitive. Tyler Bate didn't look terrible in defeat. They kept playing with the Mustafa Ali sort of trickster dynamic where he's half good guy, half heel, where he's doing little heelish things, like when he had a headlock on Tyler Bate, he would put his foot on the rope so Tyler Bate couldn't shoot him off. He would take little shortcuts here and there in order to be sort of still be a baby face, but if you were really paying attention, he's dribbling in some heel characteristics. So they're doing a good job there. It's a little subtle. Maybe it's a little too subtle, and I think that commentary is missing it, which is, it's NXT commentary. Vic Joseph sounds like he's on a video game. I love him. Booker T is not really paying attention. He's too busy door dashing and shucky ducky quacking, so they're not really paying attention to what's going on. I love NXT commentary for that very reason, though, because either Vic Joseph is absolutely zoned in and he's really good, or he's taking the overview in which he sounds like, yes, what a wonderful pin in this match. It's like nothing specific at all about the match or anything. So Tyler Bate loses to the 450. They do an interesting finish here where Mustafa Ali and Tyler Bate were both on the top rope, and they were locked in terms of their hands. And Mustafa Ali, I think he foot sweeped them, or he did something to crotch Tyler Bate on the top rope. And then Tyler Bate just basically fell in position for the 450. And the crowd booed a little bit, but they did it just subtle enough to get people to believe that it was perhaps a mistake. So that was very well done. Mustafa Ali, after the match, challenges Wesley at the Great American Bash for the North American title. That ought to be fun, despite the fact that I'm not a big fan of Wesley. Now, let's pause right here because I did watch Impact, and his partner, Zachary Wentz, has gone back to Impact to team up with Trey Miguel. And I liked that. I thought that was very nice. I'm so glad that guy's getting another opportunity. He was fired from WWE because everybody thought he was a Nazi or something like that. He had did a picture for it, just joking around with like the little Hitler mustache and doing the Heil Hitler. And he was fired from NXT. This was all set up by his wife, who was mad at him because they were getting a divorce and all this kind of stuff. And I was holding out hope that WWE would smarten up and bring him back. Even though I wasn't a big fan of MSK, I thought the guy lost his job for one of the stupidest reasons of all time. Because this apparently happened long before he even signed a WWE contract. So it really didn't have anything to do with WWE. But they fired him anyway. So I'm glad he found a landing spot in Impact. And they're actually using his firing as part of his gimmick. Because Trey has lost the X Division title. He's lost his mind. And Zachary Wentz has come back and said, hey, look, the Radicals are back. But I went through hell and everybody turned their back on me. So no treehouse. No goofy Radicals. This is the real thing now. So very glad to see it. I know that Wesley is probably glad to see it, and I just want to do a little sidebar when it comes to Zachary Wentz getting his job in Impact. I like this. Apparently, the Radicals are now a 4-man group because Myron Reed is apparently one of the Radicals too. But he's not in Impact. He's also not in WWE. Somebody should rectify that, and he should be on television somewhere because that kid is actually decent. Maybe he's finally gotten from underneath that incredibly heavy MLW deal, that he's seemingly been under for like 8 years. I don't know how old he's still a young guy, but he's under that MLW contract, man. That joint like a Warner Brothers music deal. That shit like a No Limit Records deal. Damn. How long you please free that kid. Anyway, Baron Corbin had a vignette in which he was embarrassed and pissed off after losing to Carmelo Hayes. He says he miscalculated the nostalgia of the Lone Wolf and that he realizes now he can't go back. He said he has everything he wants: the car, the job, the money, the women, the family, everything. He has everything except the reputation. And he's got to burn his past. He's got to burn everything. And he said he doesn't need a manager. He doesn't want any type of authority. He doesn't need anything. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no bullshit. I think this is great. This has a lot of opportunity to it. Wrestling Soup that recently uploaded a video from one of their podcasts where they was talking about maybe it's time to get rid of Baron Corbin. I concur with that. I always concur when it comes to getting rid of people that are basically useless. And Baron Corbin reaches that bar of pretty much useless. But he also fits the bar of generic mid-card WWE heel that in 10, 15 years, you're going to wonder how he was around so long. Guys like Vladimir Kozlov, guys like Snitsky, guys like Heidenreich, guys like Luther Reigns. Except for he was actually positioned as higher on the card than a lot of those guys were. Except Heidenreich, of course. Heidenreich got to wrestle The Undertaker. A-Train and, Lord Tensai and all those guys. Like, Baron Corbin is in that tier of wrestler for me, where he's just a generic big dude. And they're apparently going to give him yet another opportunity. I don't know how many opportunities this guy's going to get, but, okay. If you put it on the TV, I'm willing to give it a shot, but I highly suggest, we bench Baron Corbin. I highly suggest it. Anyway, match 3. Tatum Paxley versus Kelani Jordan. Kelani Jordan is a gymnast. She had Dana Brooke in her corner. They're starting to do something with Tatum Paxley where they're changing her look. She's starting to wear really dark makeup around her eyes and face. They're not doing anything with Tatum Paxley, which I don't like, because I think she has some potential. But Kelani Jordan was very impressive here. She's agile as fuck. I mean, she just has the gymnastic moves down. She moves very smoothly. She ends up winning the match with a suplex counter into a jawbreaker, which was fine for a finish, I suppose. Dana Brooke got in the ring and celebrated with her to show that Dana Brooke is still hanging around NXT despite being on Raw. And I apologize, y'all. I didn't know that Dana Brooke got pinned, or was it Tegan Knox, whatever. She got pinned during the commercial on Monday Night Raw. I wasn't paying attention, right? I did not care about that match. Dana Brooks was on the screen. You're going to have to beg my pardon. I don't give a damn about Dana Brooke at all and what she's doing. So I didn't pay attention to that. But how humorous is that? That apparently Triple H / Vince McMahon / Bruce Pritchard / Michael Hayes all feel the same way about Dana Brooke that I feel, which is that she's completely and totally useless, worth nothing, and we're going to beat her during the commercial because she is that important to this product. But she was still here on NXT, front and center, hugging all on Kelani Jordan, getting all that mid off this on this kid who has some potential. She needs a personality, but she's new. This is her debut. Corey Jade comes out to ruin the celebration. She talks about anybody who's a friend of Dana Brooke is an enemy of hers. She has no need for mentors, no need for friends. Then Kelani Jordan says, hey, how about you have a match with me right now, because I got one more match in me tonight. Corey Jade was not interested, But her response was very weird. She says, "You don't tell me what to do, ever." And I was like, it was a question. It wasn't a command. It wasn't like, "Get your ass in this ring." She was like, "How about you and me fight right now?" And everybody was like, "Yay!" And Cora Jade's stock answer was, "You don't tell me what to do." I was like, "Okay, are you going to go to your room and slam the door?" Like, "I hate you, Dad." Slam. What is going on here, man? Anyway, Cora Jade, Kalani Jordan, okay. Cora Jade, Dana Brooke, no thank you. Chase University, Andre Chase is back. He gets a big welcome back thing. He thanked Duke Hudson for stepping up in his absence. Recognized that Thea Hale should be the NXT Women's Champion because she did beat Tiffany Stratton, even if the referee didn't see it. And then said that Gulak and Dempsey have been trying to poison the minds of his young students, and he will not let it stand. And he got tired of watching them take opportunities and take liberties with his students. Now him and Duke are going to make them pay. So some kid asks whether they're going to continue being substitutes or adjuncts or whatever they're calling them. And then Duke Hudson cussed them out. All right, so Andre Chase is back. The tag team match is inevitable. I'm guessing, that we're finally about to get this full-on heel turn from Duke Hudson. It's got to come eventually, right? All right. Match 4, NXT Underground, Damon Kemp versus Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe wins the match with a triangle choke. I actually thought this was pretty good. My favorite part, for starters, let's talk about this real quick. It was bare knuckle, so they didn't tape fists, they didn't do gloves, which very disappointed Booker T. Booker T was looking forward to the 8-ounce gloves. It was no 8-ounce gloves. There was NXT talent around the ring, and they had taken down the ropes. There was a part in this match in which Damon Kemp did a belly-to-belly suplex on Eddie Thorpe on the floor. Like he suplexed him from the ring to the floor. Again, there was no ropes. So Eddie Thorpe is selling, and Gable Steveson, who supposedly helped Eddie Thorpe with training, is checking on Thorpe. Like he's getting down, and he takes his gold medal, which apparently he wears everywhere, and he's showing it to Eddie Thorpe. He's just showing it to him. Like, look at this. Be inspired by this. And Booker T steals the show where he's like, "What the hell is that gold medal going to do? That ain't going to help him right now, man." I was thinking the same thing, bro. I was like, what is he trying to do? Like, he's got the gold medal and he's just dangling in his face like, look at this. Look at what you can achieve if you get off your ass. Booker T's like, that ain't going to help him, man. Like, God damn it. You hanging over the Target book. You paying more attention than usual. Anyway, they do a spot where Damon Kemp hurts his shoulder. He gets in a triangle choke, ref stoppage. Fun match. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Hope they do more. After the match, Gable Steveson is in the ring celebrating with Eddie Thorpe, where he is confronted by some riffraff. Like some regular old, like it was like a scene out of a Western where, some guy walks up to you at the bar while you're just trying to have a drink, and all of a sudden he just want to pick a fight. It was like that. It was like Gable Stevens is in the ring, raising Eddie Thorpe's hand, hugging him and everything, and then some riffraff just shows up, gets all in Gable Stevenson's face. So then Gable Steveson takes off his gold medal, hands it to Eddie Thorpe, then proceeds to start suplexing guys. Suplexed that guy. Another guy showed up, got in his face. He suplexed him. And he suplexed like 3 or 4 guys before some big dude showed up. Big dude, dreadlocks, have no idea who this guy is. And big dude basically just magnetically went into Gable Stevenson's arms and got suplexed. Crowd was rocking at this point. They were very excited. So Gable Steveson got to show off a little bit of what he can do. I like that. That was very cool. So this whole package right here was dope. They're showing you that Gable Steveson actually has been doing something this whole time he's been under contract. He ain't been just wasting time and dodging rape charges. Moving on. Trick and Mello backstage promo, very simple. Mello was a little concerned about the Money in the Bank thing, but still invited Judgment Day to NXT, where he is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Finn Balor actually showed up later. Finn Balor says, well, you weren't sweating me? Were you sweating me when I beat you from pillar to post around the ring last Monday? And then accepted that Judgment Day will be appearing on NXT next week. Okay. They're clearly not going to put the NXT Championship on Damian Priest. That clearly is not about to happen. But we probably are about to have Dominic Mysterio versus Carmelo Hayes at the Great American Bash. Now, if that is going to occur, I'm very excited for that. And I will take it to the next level and say Dominic should win. If Dominic Mysterio is going to be the opponent for Great American Bash, he should win. If it's going to be Finn Balor, Carmelo should get his win back. But if Dominic is going to be the contender, Dominic should win the title. That's my thing. Because Dominic, as a top heel on NXT, with Rhea Ripley at his side, that could be money. I'm just weekly money. Now, I know it's going to be a bit much to piss off the NXT audience, but they did it with Dolph Ziggler. You could do it with Dominic. You know, he could pop in and pop out, defend the title, cut promos, stuff like that. But if it's Finn Balor, you don't put that belt back on Finn Balor. You know, maybe I kind of saw this coming, where I kind of mentioned that the only way it makes sense for Carmelo to lose to Finn Balor on Raw is if they're going to double back at some point, which it seems like they might do. So it's not going to be Damian Priest. It could possibly be Finn Balor. But for my money, I would go with Dominic Mysterio, and I'll put the belt on Dominic. All right. Stacks, Tony D'Angelo. Tony D is still in jail. Tony D wants an explanation to the videotape that he heard last week, or the audio tape that he heard last week. Stacks was playing dumb, but claims that he made a deal, one that will benefit both of them. So Joe Coffey came in. Joe Coffey set up this situation in which there's going to be a match between Joe Coffey and Stacks next week. If Stacks wins, then Tony D'Angelo will be freed. The charges will be dropped. And they're going to get a tag team title shot. I don't know how Joe Coffey is going to do that. Like, what connections does Joe Coffey have that can get Tony D'Angelo out of jail? Whatever. If Joe Coffey wins, then Tony D'Angelo has got to stay in jail. So Tony D'Angelo is pissed about this. Feels like Stacks is selling him out. And doesn't think that he can win in a 3-on-1 situation, because Gallus are technically 3 guys. But Stacks says, look, the underboss, I'm making moves. You know, the envelopes are full. Everything's going to work out. I got this. And so now Tony is in there banging the phones, which is unusual when it comes to jail. You got to bang the phone. You just got to bang the phones. All right. Noam Dar. Noam Dar is looking at a picture of the Heritage Cup. He's talking to it, talking about how it completes him, and the metaphor are going to try to cure him of this love sickness with the Heritage title, because apparently I think he has a rematch coming up, or it's he's got something to do next week. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to lie to you. He got his fingernails painted. I don't really pass. Okay. Moving on. Kiana James goes into her office to find it covered in paint with the word phony written all over the place, and a letter saying that she can never outrun her past. Apparently, Gigi Dolan has vandalized Kiana James' office. So now Kiana James is ready for war. All right, they're playing in paint. Okie dokie. Von Wagner kills my good friend Big Body Javi. I'm a big fan of Big Body Javi. He has charisma. He's a jobber, but he has charisma. By powerbombing him through a table. Now, Robert Stone tried to stop this. Now, on commentary, Vic Joseph is actually doing his job, telling us that Big Body Javi was bumping his gums about Von Wagner, and that's why this is happening. But we didn't actually see that occur, so Von Wagner could just be flying off the handle for no reason. Anyway, the crowd actually got behind Von Wagner after he powerbombed Big Body Javi through the table. Poor Big Body Javi. He didn't do nothing to nobody, and he just got to suffer so that we can try to get over this big waste of skin called Von Wagner. But it finally worked. They finally found something to get this big luggage over. They finally got him over. They had to smash Big Body Hobby to do it, though. Unfortunate. So Lucien Price and Bronco Nima will be making their debut next week. They claim that they combine athleticism with street knowledge, and NXT is a new place for them to unleash all the anger that they have from how they grew up. Okay, sure, if you so desire. All right, in the main event segment was Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker came out to sort of tease what might be next for him, but first he put himself over, saying that nobody believed that he had a chance against Seth freaking Rollins, but even though he's 25 and only had 78 matches with no prior experience, he was still extremely close to winning the World Heavyweight Championship. But what's next for him? And he was just about to say it when Ilya Dragunov interrupted. Ilya Dragunov says that he is next for Bron Breakker, and that he wanted Bron Breakker to know that there's only one person in between him and the NXT Championship, and that is Bron Breakker. So now he's come to eliminate Bron Breakker, and he wanted Bron Breakker to know that. He wasn't going to attack him from behind. He wanted to let him know face to face. They ended up brawling. They emptied the backstage area to separate them. So Bron Breakker, Ilya Dragunov, which is exactly what I expected for Halloween Havoc, for Great American Bash. Thumbs up. I'm good with that. Okay, very, very solid show. Pretty much everything going into the show or coming out of the show has storyline attached, which made it easier to become invested in the various programs that are going on. They're really loading up. They've been loading up NXT for like a month now. It's been like a month, a solid month of really, really solid NXT stuff. Mixing in talent from the past, bringing in new talent, really reinvigorating some of the stories of talent that are already there. So they've been doing a really great job. I definitely think they need to do more, especially establishing people who've been around for a while. Why did the vignettes and stuff stop for Tiffany Stratton? Why are we not doing anything to help save the career of Roxanne Perez? I mean, the poor girl's only 21, and she's already in Jobber to the Stars mode. And she should be building her career at this point. Blair Davenport looked good. She's just waiting for the opportunity. She's one of those girls that's just kind of waiting for the spot to open. Again, great swerve with the Creed brothers losing. I kind of called it last week, but you only got two options. So hopefully they'll do some under the mask stuff where they're pretending they're not the Creed brothers and screw over the Schism. Apparently there's going to be a new Schism member. I wonder who that's going to be. Something's telling me it's probably going to be Eric Young. Like, something just keeps yelling at me like it's going to be somebody that I don't want it to be. And the person I don't want it to be the most is Eric Young. And so that's why Eric Young just keeps ringing in my head. It just seems like a gimmick that he would get into. And I don't want that. Don't want that at all. Plus, he's undersized and a little bit older. So he probably would be like the leader of Schism, the new leader or whatever. So hopefully it's not him. It's probably somebody else. But I just had to throw that out there because it was on my mind. NXT is doing well with the women's division, despite no tag team championships. They still have off title feuds going, so that works out. Ivy Nile is finally gonna have to do something, on her own without the Creed brothers. That ought to work out. And the North American title situation is finally a little bit clearer, and the Heritage Cup title is clear now. So the show was solid. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys later.